Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today we are talking about some methods that I actually use pretty often, so I'm sure you will find use for them after you learn them. So these methods are some object methods, but we don't use them like we usually use methods like saying if this is the object, you won't say friends dot something. We're basically saying object dot something and we pass the object. So this is how this particular methods work. We won't say friends keys like that. We will say object, so the object prototype that keys of that particular object of which we want to use the method on, right? So first we will discuss object keys of an object, and what that does, it's returning basically an array of all the properties, the given properties in that array. So using object keys on friends, we will get an array of, oh sorry about that. We will use we will get back an array of all these properties. So we will get back an array with mom, dad, and son, both these being strings, right? So if I run this, you will see let me just change this. You can see we get an array of the properties, and this can be very useful if you for different situations, like if you're trying to maybe do maybe you want to loop through the properties and do something for each property of the object, right? So basically you just say object keys of friends of whatever objects you're trying to get the keys of, and you will get an array with the keys. Now it's important to know that this only gets the level 1 properties, so the direct properties that you give it. If you have an object like this, and you have inside friends, well, not friends, friends, well, you could do friends. I will say other friends, maybe, and then you have an object in here, and then you say here, okay, let's say user 1 2 3. Wow, we're just gonna give it weird things, but anyway, we just want to say what's happen if you have a property inside that object, that property's value is also an object, and we're just gonna give it because my imagination is so bad now. And we will say, oh, I will leave this here, and we will say here son, and again 1 2 3. So what's gonna happen now, you will only get an array when you run object keys of friends. You will only get an array of the direct properties. It won't go levels deep inside the other objects. You will just get an array of other friends and some friends. So if I run that, you can see we only get the direct ones. We don't get the properties that are inside other objects that are our value. You only get the direct properties, okay? So remember that. Now we have, now this is the one that I use most often, the object keys one. That's the one I use most often, but you can get situations where you might use the other one, and I will give an example at least for object values, which we will see next. So on object value, what's going to happen when you run object values on the object, instead of getting an array of the properties, you will get an array of all the values of those properties. So if I run object values of friends, we will get an array, which inside that array will be this value, which is an array, then another array, the next array, and then the next array, and so on. So you will get an array of arrays back in this case, because all of these are arrays, so they will be put in an array, and you will get an array of arrays. So if I do that, you can see we get this array here, which inside has all this array, all the values. So basically object values, that's what it does. Now here, how you could use this one in some case. Let's say you have an object. I made something up here, but let's say this object has the friends of the members of the family. So the mom, the wife has these two friends, dad has these three friends, and son has all these friends. When you want to find all the friends of the family, right? So what you will do, you will say object values of friends. But when you say object values of friends, you get an array of arrays, and you want just an array with all the friends. So you do this, you get an array, and then you can use the method flatten it, which basically flattens arrays that are nested. And I will link above a video that I made about the flat method, because there's a little bit more to know about it than just it, but this will basically flatten this array. So now if I do a click here and I do this, we get an array with all the friends. And what happens if dad and the son share the same friend, right? We don't want to we don't want to see it twice. So what we could do is we could return basically. Now I'm going a little bit deep, but just to see a situation where you would use object values of an object, right? So now here, if I want to have just each friend just once, so unique friends, I will do something like this. I'm not gonna explain this, but you can go, if you're curious, you can go and learn more about the stuff I'm using here. But yeah, if I'm doing this, you won't see James twice, you will only see it once. So as you can see, what's happening? Why is it still? Oh no, because I have to do new set of this, right? So because the set is what's gonna make all the values to be unique, and then I'm gonna spread it, because a set is not an array. So but if you use the spread syntax on it, it will transform it in an array. So now if I do that again, you only see James once. You can see James is only once there. Okay, and there is one more that you can know. Now don't get confused about all this stuff I did here. You just remember the purpose of this video is for you to understand what Object.keys does and what object values does. And we have another one, which is Object.entries. And Object.entries basically it returns an array of the properties and values, but it's basically taking the property and is putting it in an array with the value. So you will get an array of arrays that each of those arrays is gonna have two elements. First element of each array is gonna be the property, and second element is going to be the value. So if I do this, we will get an array of arrays that have two elements. The first element will be mom, and the first element will be an array with mom as the first element in that array, and another array which has Anna and Mary as the second element of that array. Yeah, let's just do it so you can see what I mean. Oh, what's going on? Define properties of friends. Oh, why is this define properties? I don't know what I write here. It's like I was too concentrated to explain. I didn't see what I was writing. Okay. So now, as you can see, we get an array of 3 arrays. Each of these arrays have Each of these arrays have two elements. You see, it has the property, and then the second value of the array is the value in the object, right? And so on. This is the property, and this is the value. This is the property, and this is the value, and that's it. I'm using the object keys one a lot, but object values can be really useful as well, and I'm sure you can find situations where object entries would be a good fit as well. Now I hope you learned a lot from this video, and you'll come back for the next video, which hopefully is gonna be about the reduce, because I've seen about a lot of videos about reduce, but they don't give a lot of real world example of the power of reduce. They just show the basics, and I want to make a more complex one. So I hope you come back for that one. You will learn a lot. Now if you enjoyed this one, please give a like and subscribe. It will help me with the YouTube algorithm. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye bye. Have a great day.